So the next question is why great circle track is not a constant track, not a constant direction track. So to illustrate this question, I have drawn a circle which represents the shape of the earth, and this is a 0-degree longitude meridian or the Greenwich meridian, and I have drawn 4 meridians. This is on the eastern side, and this is 20-degree east meridian, this is 40-degree east, and this is 20-degree west and 40-degree west meridian. Now I have drawn 2 points, point A and point B, and the great circle, as per the definition, the great circle is the shortest distance between 2 points on the surface of the earth. So the shortest distance between these 2 points will be a direct line joining like this between A and B. And so as per the definition of the direction at any point is the angular difference between the line and the meridian passes through that point. So here we can see this great circle line meets these 3 meridians at these 3 different points, point 1, point 2 and point 3. So let's call this angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, and we can clearly see that this angle 1 is less than this angle 2 and this angle 2 is less than this angle 3. And if we just compare angle 1 and 3, we can clearly see that there is a clear difference between angle 1 and angle 3. So because of the spherical shape of the earth, the angle this and this is different, so the direction of the great circle here and here will be different. So this is the reason that a great circle is not a constant direction track. So for an example, if we just give it a rough estimate, if we say this angle 1 around 30 degree, this angle we can say maybe around 45 degree, and this is almost close to a 90 degree angle. So here direction of great circle will be, if we say direction from A to B, here direction of this great circle will be 30 degree east, here 45 degree east, and here almost maybe 60 to 70 degree, or if this angle is 90 degree, then 90 degree east. So guys, this is the reason that great circle is not a constant direction track, and the reason, if we can summarize, the reason is because of the spherical shape of the earth or because of the earth convergency. So the next question is, what is the variation of Delhi airport? Or instead of Delhi airport, the examiner may ask you the variation of any other airport, or how to check what is the variation at a particular airport. So to check the variation, you can go to this airport diagram of any airport, and most probably the chart number will be 10-9. So you can go to this airport and either on left top or right top, or here you can find one marking like this. So this here at Delhi, it says 0-1 east. That means variation at Delhi airport is 1 degree east. So this is the true north, this is the magnetic north. Magnetic north is 1 degree east of true north. So at Delhi airport, the variation is 1 degree east. Similarly, you can go to any other airport like Dubai, Singapore or Mumbai, and you can go to that same 10-9 and you can find out the variation at that airport. Next question is, what is track made good? Let's say aircraft is traveling from point A to point B. If there is no winds, in case of nil wind condition, aircraft to travel from point A to point B, aircraft needs to maintain a heading of 090. So if aircraft is maintaining heading 090, then if there is no wind, aircraft will continue to maintain this track of 090. So because there is no wind, this 090 will be same heading as well as the track made good. So aircraft will end up maintaining track 090 on the surface of the earth. So if there is no wind, in nil wind condition, heading and track made good are same. Second condition, let's say aircraft is traveling from point A to point B and aircraft is maintaining a heading of 090, but in this case there is a wind coming from south, that is 180 degree and coming at 20 knots. So because of the wind, the aircraft will get pushed on the left side, and instead of flying track 090 intended track, aircraft will actually end up flying track somewhere like this. So because of the wind from right, aircraft is not able to maintain this track. Aircraft will end up flying this track which will be less than 090. Let's say it is track 080. So now this will become track made good. So since aircraft is maintaining heading 090 and winds are from right 180 20 knots, so aircraft will end up flying this track around 080, anything less than 090, so this will become track made good. In another case, if wind was from left side, then aircraft would have ended up flying this track. So this would have been heading. If this is heading and winds are from left side, then on right side will become track made good. So track made good is the actual path flying by aircraft on the surface of the earth is the track made good, and it is denoted by a double arrow line. The next question is, what is CP? CP is known as critical point. CP is also known as ETP, which is equitime point, or PET, which is point of equal time. So the CP is the decision point between two airfields from which it would take the same time to fly to either airfields. Let me give you an example. Let's say a flight is going from point A to point B, and the distance between these 2 points is 1000 nautical mile, and let's assume that there is no winds. So the total distance is 1000 nautical mile, and let's take the speed of the aircraft as 500 nautical miles per hour. So it would take the aircraft to fly from point A to point B, which will be 1000 divided by 500, which is 2 hours. So after 1 hour, this aircraft will reach somewhere here midway, which is at around 500 nautical mile from both the places. So we can say that in nil winds, so from this point, let's call this as point C. So from this point, it will take for this aircraft exactly 1 hour to go either to point B or point A. So we can say that in nil winds, CP or ETP is at the midpoint. But the question arises, but the problem arises if it's not a nil wind condition. So what happens if there is a wind in the route? Then CP or ETP will not be in the center of your departure and your destination. In this case, what happens that CP shifts into the wind. Here I am not explaining completely how Cp shifts into the wind. So for the Viva point of view, you can just remember that Cp always shifts into the wind. So let's say if the wind is 50 knots, so if the winds are 50 knots headwind in first sector, so instead of Cp, instead of lying at the midpoint, it will shift towards the destination. So in the first sector, in this flying from A to B, winds are from this direction. Let's say it's a headwind, so winds are from this direction. So Cp will shift into the wind. And you can also remember a couple of more things, that Cp is independent of fuel endurance. In still air, Cp is midway between departure point and destination. With a headwind component, Cp moves towards the destination, or with a tailwind, Cp moves back towards departure point. Put simply, Cp always moves into the wind from the still air midpoint condition. If the wind reduces, the Cp will move towards the still air condition, that is the midpoint. Next question is, what is PNR? PNR is also known as PSR. PNR is defined as the point furthest removed from the departure point to which an aircraft can fly and still return to its departure point within its safe endurance. PSR is known as point of safe return. For the example, let's take point A and point B, departure, point B, destination, and the total distance between departure and destination is 1000 nautical mile, and in this aircraft the total fuel consumption to depart from point A and to reach point B is 1000 kg. So as per the definition, point of no return is that some point which is furthest removed from the departure point to which aircraft can reach and come back to its departure point. Okay, so the fuel consumption, let's take this example, that fuel consumption of this aircraft is 100 kg per hour. So it would take this aircraft to go from point A to point B, it will take around 10 hours. Let's take an example that this aircraft took off only with 200 kg. So in 200 kg, to come back here, aircraft can go up to only this point. So 200 kg, this aircraft has to go this direction and come back in this direction. So 100 kg will be spent in going from point A to point C, and 100 kg will be spent in coming back from point C to point A. Now let's take another case. Let's say this aircraft took off from point A with total fuel of 1000 kg. So in 1000 kg, this aircraft has to go to a certain point and then come back. So 1000 kg divided by 2, which comes around 500 kg. So aircraft can spend 500 kg in going outbound and 500 kg in inbound. So this point in this case becomes the point of no return. So any moment the aircraft crosses this point, let's call it point P. So the anytime this aircraft crosses this point, this aircraft won't be able to return back to point A. So this point becomes our point of no return. Now let's take third case. Now let's take third case, that this aircraft took off with some extra fuel, and let's take this case as 1400 kg. So in 1400 kg, this aircraft can fly for 1400 divided by 100. This aircraft can fly for 14 hours. So with 1400 kg, this aircraft can spend 7 hours going to some point and then again 7 hours coming to its departure position. So with 1000 kg, PNR was here, but with 1400 kgs, PNR is here. So this PNR, point of no return, is directly proportional to the fuel carried. With 1000 kgs, PNR was only here. With 1400 kg, PNR is further away from the departure. So we can say that more the fuel available, more the fuel aircraft is carrying, more will be the PNR. And there are some basic principles which you should be aware about the PNR. Some PNR rules. One of them is maximum distance to PNR is achieved in still air condition. All wind components, headwind on tailwind, reduces the distance to PNR. If a wind component increases, the distance to PNR decreases. Third, if a wind component decreases, the distance to PNR increases. Fourth, an increase in true airspeed has the same effect as a reduction in wind component, an increase in the distance to PNR. Conversely, a decrease in true airspeed has the same effect as the increase in wind component, that is, a decrease in the distance to PNR. That's all from the today's video. Have a fantastic day.